I Love Quark is a semester-long project at Carnegie Mellon University's Entertainment Technology Center, aimed at producing a 3D puzzle sandbox game that inspires 13 to 18-year-old kids to code and gain the technical knowledge to make their own games. Our goal with this game is to be able to have our product inform and investigate some of the design decisions in the puzzle section of Eline Media's latest project, Endless Mission.
Our game I Love Quark is a linear puzzle-solving game. We expect it to be entertaining while also being able to get teenagers interested in coding and designing their own games. The game seeks to teach them how they can reshape the behavior of objects in the environment at will through creating and manipulating code commands. Its code commands are like abilities that map to different coding concepts as they related to the object-oriented programming. Like the move function will allow players to move a block in 6 different axes of motion. The rotation function will allow players to rotate a block around the X, Y, and Z axis. The wait function will give players the opportunity to pause the programming of a block for 1 second. And the loop function will apply to the aforementioned commands to loop them and conserve energy and space. Players unlock these abilities as they progress through the world, showing that they are comfortable enough to manipulate the puzzle and the world around them. By completing the puzzles and progressing through the game, we believe that the teenagers will gain confidence in their computational thinking skill and will be more motivated to learn coding or engage in a game engine like Unity in the future.
During the brainstorming and research of the Isle of Quark, we took a look at many existing coding games there. And one thing we noticed that many of them didn't seem to abstract the information enough for beginners to feel comfortable engaging with the game. They seem to be coding games built by programmers and for programmers. Throughout the development of our project, we have focused a lot on iterating how the main mechanics of our game and how we can provide a simplified abstraction of coding to players who might not be familiar with the subject. Thus, we have gone through a good number of versions, both with the colleague at ETC and our target audience, high school students.
To support fast iterations, we designed a code framework to be flexible and extensible. This decoupled different parts of the game so that any changes wouldn't involve a huge amount of work and were revertible. We also built several internal tools for the level designers and narrative designers, including a level editor, a puzzle compiler, and a CSV-based narrative importer. These tools help the designers to focus on the content they were creating. For example, the puzzle compiler mapped the structure and interconnections within a puzzle, so that the designers can change the puzzle at any time and fix the connections within a click. The narrative importer allowed the narrative designer to list all the sequences, the conditions, and the related files in one spreadsheet.
In our game, we want the players to have a mild learning curve of the game mechanism, so we tried our best to make the game more friendly. We actually started considering this right from the beginning. When I was designing puzzles, I tried to avoid putting too many new things in a single level, so that the players won't struggle too much with the new controls. Besides this, I also tried to put some practice levels behind every tutorial levels, which I believe would help the players to fully understand the new controls. However, it is still not enough. It is simply not possible to get all the things right in just one iteration. The several playtesting sessions we had were extremely helpful. Based on the feedback from the testers and the challenges we observed during the playtestings, we kept iterating to make the tutorials more intuitive and friendly. For now, our latest version is pretty smooth with regards to the tutorials. As for the puzzles which are not part of the tutorials, we wanted to make the puzzles a little bit more challenging and inspiring. Some puzzles will take time to solve, and usually there is more than one answer.
After coming up with a solid grasp on how the command module mechanic would work, and building a few puzzles as a proof of concept, we began looking at how to handle player progression and perhaps motivate the players keep playing and keep engaging with the game. A simple narrative story is also implemented into the game, although not the main focus beyond player motivation.
Hi, I'm Alan Gershenfeld. I'm co-founder and president of Eli Media.
And I'm Brendan Sewell, the creative director.
So we had a really interesting project for Team Parallel at Carnegie Mellon. We're working on a game called The Endless Mission that takes players from conjuring to coding in a creation sandbox world. And as part of our research and exploration, we really wanted to explore different design approaches to integrating computational thinking and coding challenges in a game trajectory that could be part of the larger sandbox environment we're creating. So the challenge that we gave Team Parallel is to conceive and design a game prototype in an inviting 3D world that integrated computational thinking and coding into a game trajectory. And it's been a really fun semester.
We were intrigued to see a student group take on the challenge of putting story and world and characterization within a puzzle environment that also teaches computational thinking. It's a tough design challenge to take on, and we were really impressed by the way that the team got together, took a very intelligent, iterative approach to going through that design challenge. They got in the full spectrum of tools development and user feedback testing and incorporating that data into the product that they resulted with. And that information and that sort of learning lesson that they went on a journey for, we're really optimistic is going to help inform us on what we then take back for our experience for the Endless Mission.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see the way the team self-organized. They really did sort of approach this as a game developer in terms of the coding, the design, the art, the product management. They went very broad with kind of an open-ended world and realized that scope was a little bit too broad for the time and resources they had. But they saw that early and refactored the design. And I think they came up with something really interesting, really useful. And as Brendan said, I think it's been very, very helpful for us in our journey as well.